I first wanted to talk about something that DHS Director Howard Hendrick brought up at the last Human Services Commission meeting, that he would like to see state workers get a raise, and one way he thinks that could be paid for is if the employer contribution to the retirement system was reduced. I think it's 16.5% right now. He says you only need to maintain 10%, so maybe if that 16% could be brought down a few percentage points, that could go to the workers in the form of a raise. I immediately thought, I wonder what Randy McDaniel thinks about that, and what it would do to the pension system.
There are a lot of groups and individuals that are making proposals that will be harmful to the retirement system. A lot of those are for good causes. Public employees haven't had a pay raise in a long time, and I know they want it. A lot of them work very hard. I know there's many other things that would be worthwhile to think about, but we can't do it on the back of the pension system itself. Over the last decade, this has consistently gone down in its funding status, and it put a great financial crisis on the overall state of Oklahoma. The funding requirements had really grown so substantially that in a lot of scenarios we have it where the debt reduction expense is as large as the actual benefit payment itself. And so while his thoughts are, now that things are looking better, let's try to immediately do things to make it worse, they need to try to find solutions for pay raises from other causes, not doing it and taking away debt reduction for the pension systems themselves.
What would a pay raise for state employees do to the pension system? Would that affect it at all, or since the contribution is a portion of that increase anyway, it really wouldn't have an overall impact?
Well, over time, pay raises do hurt the retirement system. Now, for the most part, they've been already factored in. An actuarial analysis will say we're going to make some assumptions that every so often there will be a pay raise. So in some ways, you get a benefit if there's an extended period of time where there are not pay raises. But there is no doubt, taking a direct funding source, OPRS is one of the few plans that has no outside funding. With teachers' retirement, they get a piece of a lot of the taxes. Insurance premium tax for all the three public safety plans get a piece of that. And so it's a very pure analysis. You have the employee contribution and the employer contribution. The employer contribution has gone up consistently over the last 20 years. We have done that because there was an absolute need to be able to get on top of the financial situation for OPRS. I am happy to report we're over 80% funded, but that's still not the solution to say we're well funded and we're out of the woods. In the private sector, if you're under 80%, you get a penalty until you get back over 80%. And so while we're happy that we're barely over, we're between 80 and 81% funded, we actually have them on a sustainable path, but they're only 1 or 2% and on the good side on the cash flow analysis. So yes, they are cash flowing. They are barely over 80%, but we're just barely on target to be moving in the right direction.